Hey guys, welcome back to the MCU HQ, and today I am going to be ranking all 6 MCU Phase 1 films. If you have not watched any or all of my reviews for these movies, go check them out. They're in a playlist, should be right up there. Anyway, let's get into it. So at number 6, we have Iron Man 2. In my opinion, this is the only Phase 1 film that is really not all that good. It has a lot of subplots in it. It's really hard to follow what's happening. There's a ton of characters. I think in my review I thought of 10 or 11 different subplots it has, and then even I didn't name them all because there's more. The movie slows down at a certain point. It kind of comes to a screeching halt so all the characters can get where they need to be for the third act, and then it ramps back up. There's some solid action in this movie. All of the actors are doing really good, but the biggest fault of this movie is that they wanted it to be an Avengers setup instead of an Iron Man sequel, and that really messed up this movie. You know, we get Cap's shield in there, we get a folder for the Avengers, we get footage from the Incredible Hulk, we get a direct reference to the post-credit scene, which never happens before when Coulson says he's going to New Mexico. That's to go find Mjolnir, and then we see that later in the movie. We got Fury trying to set all this stuff up, and it just should have focused on Tony Stark, his alcoholism, his relationships, all of that, which it didn't get time to do because it had to set up the Avengers. Okay, now from here on out, I really do like all of these movies. So in 5th place is Captain America, the first Avenger. This film gets stronger for me every time I watch it. I seem to like it more every time. I think that's really good. I think that's a really good thing. And everything in this movie involving skinny Steve Rogers is incredible. Some very good characterization. Some very good characters in general. Stanley Tucci plays Dr. Abraham Erskine in this movie, and he does phenomenal. The cast really does give it their all. Even Hugo Weaving, who has said he did not really enjoy the experience, you can tell he does. He is really, really trying. The thing the movie does best is it really just sets up Captain America perfectly. Within the first 2 scenes, you know exactly who he is. You know who Bucky is. You learn all these characters so quickly, but it doesn't feel rushed. It feels like it's the perfect flow. It's great. Some gripes is that there's a lot of montages in this movie, like it montages through World War II, so we never really get to see much of the Howling Commandos, which is a shame. I would love to see a show about them on Disney+. That'd be cool. They won't do that, but that would be cool. Bucky doesn't get much to do in the movie. Bucky doesn't get much to do throughout the entire MCU, does he? I don't really think about that. And the action, to me, just is not all that good. I said in my review, they just feel like video game boss battles where the characters take cover, move from cover to cover, wait for an opening, then attack. That's all it is to me. And also, Cap's sacrifice could have been avoided. So, at number 4, we have the Incredible Hulk. A lot of you probably want me to put this 5th or at the bottom, but that's just not going to happen because I really love this movie, and it being the black sheep of the MCU does not mean it should be at the bottom. Most people always put it at the bottom, but then don't really have negatives to say. I guess they just put it there because it feels disconnected. But that doesn't make much sense because this is actually a really strong movie. I think it's the best on-screen Hulk we've ever seen. General Ross is a great character. Betty Ross, not so much. And Abomination's not in the movie too much. He does what he needs to do, but I think he needs to return to be more memorable. Some very solid action in this movie, like that first fight at the bottling plant where it's filmed like a horror movie and we never see Hulk, is great. The Culver University fight is my favorite part of the movie. And everything involving Bruce Banner is so solid that I wish we got that Hulk sequel that Marvel decided not to do because reasons. But I feel like the third act feels separate, almost like it's not in this movie. This movie is like a character study, really delving into Banner and the Hulk. Very character driven, but then they couldn't help themselves. In the end, had to go for a giant fight between 2 CG monsters and Abomination's CG does not look all that great in my opinion, but still a really strong movie. Still a really strong movie. Okay, breaking into the top 3, we have Thor. I really like Thor, and upon rewatch, it is my favorite of the trilogy. I feel like it just shows this grand, magical, extraordinary aspect to the Asgardians that the other movies forgot. Dark World, Ragnarok, and Endgame, they kind of showed Asgard with more earthy colors and mountains, but the first Thor movie, it was golden. It glowed. The sun hit it in a certain way. Every shot, it looked like it was this extraordinary thing. Like I said in my review, Asgard from the Dark World, it'd still be cool because the architecture and it's something different. You know, it's like whenever you travel to a different country, you're kind of amazed because you're seeing different things. That's what it would be like for going to Asgard after this movie. But the Asgard in this movie is insane that your jaw would be dropped the entire time. And people complain because there's not much superpowered Thor in this movie, which, I mean, it's a valid complaint, but I don't really care because I feel like the best way to humanize him would to put him on Earth with humans, with no powers, let him become, one of us basically, and his journey is so well written. I guess that's what happens when you get the Shakespearean legend himself, Gilderoy Lockhart, to direct this movie. And the music's phenomenal. Has one of my favorite scenes in the MCU, which is Thor getting his powers back at the end and then going for the Destroyer's head. Okay, moving on to number 2, we have The Avengers. This movie is phenomenal. The fact that it worked at all is just a feat, and I said it's the movie that changed franchise filmmaking forever because of what it was able to do. Bringing together 4 different franchises at that point, 6 different leads, giving them all something to do, except Hawkeye, really, until the end of the movie. Plus, people like Nick Fury, Coulson, all those S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Pepper makes a quick cameo. Selvig is in there. There's so much in this movie. The fact that it works at all is insane. And yes, that still carries over through the MCU, the fact that they've been able to keep all this going. But just looking at the Avengers, just solely at the Avengers, it's incredible it worked at all. And it's the chemistry between the actors and the characters is perfect. No one else could play any of them, and I don't think if one of them wasn't giving it their all, this movie would not be nearly as good as it is. Joss Whedon shoots action really well, so you can really see all of it. All of the characters have a different skill set, so they never blend together. I go more in depth on that in my review, so again, go check that out. Loki is pure evil, and I love it. But some of my complaints with the movie are just that Hawkeye doesn't have anything to do. Cap doesn't get as much to do as some of the other characters because he's not Iron Man and he doesn't have that emotional connection with Loki. And then the Phantom Menace treatment, which is just where all the Chitauri die instantly. I think that's just a cheap writing tactic. I've always thought it's just a cheap writing tactic. I don't like it, and the dumbest it's ever been was in this movie. This was the last time Hulk was a badass, though. I mean, he stopped a giant Leviathan with one hand, but he couldn't take out a giant wolf like it was nothing, which he should have been able to. I mean, if you put this Hulk up against Surtur would stand no chance. That's just the truth. You can argue me on that all you want. Okay, and number 1. The best film of Phase 1 is Iron Man. I think this movie is perfect in every way. It's the only one that got an A+ from me of all 6 of my reviews. I couldn't think of a single flaw with it. Every actor is great. Every character is great. The story is phenomenal. The dialogue is phenomenal. All of that's insane because the movie didn't have a script. They just kind of showed up with like little outlines of what would happen in that scene, and they kind of wrote it as they went. Mostly they did everything that they could practical. They built the Mark 1, they built the Mark 2, they built the Mark 3. I think the only thing they couldn't build on the Mark II and III was like the knees and the elbows, because of the way those joints are on the suit in the movie. I don't think they could do physically. They built the cave, they built his lab, the mansion, all of that they built. The CG is perfect, it's flawless. There's not a single shot where it seems like CG, it all seems real. And I think this movie is perfect. I think it is the perfect superhero film. But anyway, guys, that's my ranking for the Phase 1 movies. Again, go check out my reviews for all 6 of these films. They were fun to do. I go in depth on certain things, break down certain aspects that made these so great or so bad, you know. We're equal here. And that's it. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave a like on this video, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to receive all notifications from the MCU HQ. That's going to be it. Have a great day, guys.